Dallas Area Rapid Transit, aka DART, sees an 18% increase in crime. I want to play two videos for you here from Fox 4. They're both about 3 minutes long. Let's check it out.
Shows another increase in crime reporting in the first 3 months of this year. That's compared to last year. That includes assaults, thefts, and more. Fox 4's David Santendry has been covering the safety of public transportation in Dallas extensively and joins us now with an update. David.
Yeah, Heather, DART did not respond to a request I made a few days ago for an on-camera interview today to break down this data. However, we were able to get an interview today with a man who not too long ago had a frightening situation while riding DART, specifically being confronted by a man with a machete.
I ride DART every morning.
To work?
Yes, sir.
It was 5 o'clock in the morning on May 8th.
I said, there's a guy with a machete handle sticking out of the back of his shirt.
Tommy Starks will never forget it.
But I'm watching him as he pulls the machete out.
A man used a machete to threaten passengers and hit a train, according to DART. Starks called 911. Dallas Fire Rescue evaluated the man. He was taken to a hospital on an emergency mental health detention.
I want to see a stronger presence of security in the morning time.
In January through March, crime is up 18% compared to the same time last year. Assaults, drug, and theft offenses increased. DART, however, says there's context. It's seeing a significant increase in ridership. It also added 100 armed security guards to ride trains and spot crimes, in addition to its police force. DART received 437 Priority 1 calls during the first 3 months of 2023. During that same time span of this year, calls more than doubled to 1,055. There's no data provided to us which truly shows if DART's increase in security is leading to those calls. Still, despite the call volume, DART's data reveals it's cutting response times in half, from about 8 minutes to 4 minutes.
Now, that's a really good sign. Cutting the response time is huge. 8 minutes is a long time. 4 minutes is much better. So if you have more people riding, you might naturally see an increase in crime, but also an increased security presence could lead to an increase in calls. So I'm glad that Dallas is taking this seriously by adding armed security to this transit system.
There's people sleeping in there, which I understand they need a place to sleep, but we're going to work, okay? And they're doing drugs. There's people that are drugged up.
Starks reached out to Fox 4 after seeing our previous coverage of violent crimes on DART. A passenger pistol whipping another passenger, drug use, an assault of a security officer which led to a shooting, and a man suspected of beating multiple people with objects like a hammer. I mean, how close was the machete to you?
Not this close.
Yeah.
And he was putting it in my face.
Starks says another passenger threatened to shoot that man who had a machete in an effort to protect others.
So here I am in the middle of this guy with a machete and a guy behind me with a gun. Okay, and I'm just trying to go to work at 5:30 in the morning.
I mean, that's a scary situation right there. Somebody with a machete, then you have another guy with a gun who is trying to protect you, but I could totally understand why he would be terrified. And you're just trying to go to work. Who wants to be in a situation like this, where all you're doing is going to work to make a living, and you have these idiots on there doing drugs, sleeping on the train, beating people? It's crazy. This is one reason why I don't really take these types of I don't use this type of transportation.
The day after that machete incident, DART told me that it will be investigating to see if any damage was caused to one of its trains. Again, remember that man was using that machete to hit one of the trains while also threatening people. Since then, I have followed up a couple different times to see if any offenses have been filed, if a charge was filed against this man, but I have not been provided with any sort of a response. So we're still waiting, and because of that, at this point in time, we do not have the name of.
All right, and I want to go to the next video here. DART police chief talks about the increase in violent crime.
First time on camera, the chief of DART police is now addressing an alarming string of violent incidents happening at stations and in trains.
Chief Cato took the job in 2022, and he's overseen the force during an increase in crime. And he sat down with Fox 4's David Santendry. David's in Dallas tonight with more on what he's had to say. David.
Well, DART says it gives more than 200,000 rides a day. So that's a lot of people, but unfortunately, many opportunities for crime. And last year, DART did see a significant increase in many different crimes. So today we spoke with the chief of police about a wide range of topics for the taxpayer-funded service. Do you feel like people riding DART truly feel safe every time they get on a train?
I think it depends on who you ask and when you ask them.
DART Chief of Police Charles Cato is speaking with Fox 4 about a 25% increase in reported crime last year compared to the prior year. 169 robberies, a 34% increase, 747 assaults, a 21% increase. Crime numbers for this year have not been made available. Earlier this month, Fox 4 reported about a 50-year-old woman who was beaten in the head with a rock and a glass vase at a DART station, allegedly by 26-year-old Charles Murray, who's also accused of beating someone on a DART train with a hammer. We've seen video of a woman pistol whipping a man on a train, drug use, and other crimes.
I look at each one individually and see where can we have intervened. Is there a place where we could have intervened, and how could we have changed that outcome for the future?
And you said you're down officers right now. About how many?
We're down 40 officers right now.
What does that do to your patrolling of this area?
That's one of the reasons why we sought out a contract for the transit security officer, the TSO contract.
Last year, DART hired 100 transit security officers to ride trains and assist DART police. In November, a security officer was assaulted by a rider during a dispute about paying the fare, according to DART. The officer shot the suspect in the arm. Next month, Chief Cato will present.
If you can't pay the fare, you don't need to be riding that at all. And that was smart of DART to seek out private security and contract them and put 100 armed security officers on there. I think it'll make the presence of that alone makes people feel a lot safer. I know it does for me. Although it's not perfect, it does help with the sense of safety, having those people that are armed, ready to go if something goes down.
Data to DART's board of directors on the security officer program. Then the board will decide whether to renew the contract for a second year for $9 million. Are you in favor of extending the contract for the transit security officers?
Yes, like I said, I believe that we're seeing the return on investment in our response time to our calls for service.
DART says increased ridership will lead to increased crime reports. Also, more officers spotting crimes will increase reports. You call it a good system, but is it safe to say it's an imperfect system?
I don't know of any perfect system at all. I mean, if there is, let me know, because I'd like to see it.
I really need it, and I'm sure thousands of other people need it too.
We spoke with Curtis Lee, who rides DART to school and work.
It's a lot of drug use, lots of drug use. People fight all the time.
Lee says he intentionally sits near the conductor to avoid issues. He says he would not feel comfortable if his fiancée and toddler rode it alone.
I can protect myself, and believe me, she can protect herself too. It's just that, what do we have to protect ourselves against on any given day?
We have requested DART's crime data for the first few months of the year, but we are still waiting to receive that data. We'll let you know when we get it.
That's a smart man right there. Sitting by the conductor. He's being strategic about what he does. Sitting by the conductor instead of sitting way at the back where a lot of things can go wrong. And he says he can defend himself, and his fiancée, he said, believe me, she can defend herself too. So either that means they're caring or they know how to defend themselves in a fist fight. They're trained fighters. They've taken some training in the past, defense tactics, things like that. But either way, that's a very good point. What are you defending yourself against? And you never think you're going to be a victim of these types of things because you're just going on about your daily life, and then you step on a train, going to work, school, whatever it is, and all of a sudden you're confronted with the machete. And I'm strategic about everything I do. I go to the movie theater. I'm sitting in the upper left corner. I'm not sitting directly in the middle, so an active shooter can come in right there and start blasting away. I'm in the upper left corner. I'll be able to duck down, pull out my firearm if I need to protect my wife and whoever else is in the movie theater. But just be aware of your surroundings, restaurants, transit systems, because we live in a crazy world. You're seeing an increase in violent crime in Los Angeles on the transit system. I want to do a video about that pretty soon. Just haven't gotten to it. But and then you also see it in New York. And like the chief said, it depends on who you ask and when you ask. because some people will say they feel safe. They've never seen anything. Even in New York City, they don't see anything the times that they ride. So it really just depends what time. Maybe it could be days, certain days of the week, what stops they're going to. There are a lot of variables that go into this. But either way, you don't want to feel unsafe riding these things. And a lot of people need it, like the guy said. A lot of people need this. He needs that. His fiance needs it. It provides a great service. It does. It saves you on gas money or whatever it is. It's a great way to get somewhere fast if you need to. It might be a direct line to your job or whatever it is that you have to go to. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that with what's going on with the Dallas transit system. Hopefully they can get this under control. This could be a good thing with more crimes being reported, like they said, because there is that increased presence of security on this rail system. But all right, guys, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. See you next time. Thank you. Take care.